Troy Williamson defends his British Super Welterweight Championship against the pretty boy Josh Kelly. Who wins? Find out Friday, December the 2nd, 9 p.m, live and free on Channel 5.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife and saying completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. We're at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm joined by Frank Warren. What a night. Let's quickly just talk about Dubois Lorena. What were you thinking after round one?
I thought he was in all sorts of trouble. He got caught with a good shot at the top of the head, which, as we all know, in any fight, first round you get caught with one of them on your high tempo. It can, you're not warmed up, it can catch you and go over, and that's what happened to him. Well, I was surprised that he went, when he went down the first time, he didn't get hit. Sorry, the second time he didn't get hit, nor the third. But you could see that he was having a problem with his leg, and I noticed then he come out for the second round, and I could see that he couldn't. He weren't planting that foot, but he got himself back into it, and obviously stopped him. But afterwards, you could see, he's torn something there. There's a big lump there, so they've taken him off to get a scan on that, and we'll find out where we are. But he showed plenty of balls, and came back and done what he had to do. But I knew that fellow was going to come to give him a good fight.
Yeah, I think sitting ringside, watching what happened without knowing he was injured.
You thought he didn't fancy it,
especially after the Joe Joyce thing.
I hear that, and I get that, and I weren't too sure till I see so I looked at the second and see that he's obviously having a problem with his leg, and you could see that. But he came through and done what he had to do.
What did you make of the stoppage with Daniel?
Oh, I thought it was spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did you not agree?
No,
with
there was some. Like Mike Coppinger and Dan Raphael were talking about, it was after the bell. I didn't actually hear the bell, so.
The fellow was gone, wasn't he? I mean, he was getting caught, and he was catching him with good, powerful, strong punches. I don't know. It was the stoppage for me was right. I mean, if there was a timing issue, I don't know. But if there was a timing issue, then there is, and I think it only prolonged what had happened in the next round because he was finding his range and getting his shots away by then.
There was some people saying before tonight that people wouldn't turn up tonight. It seemed full in there.
It was. I mean, the official capacity was 59,700 odd. That's the amount of tickets, the amount of people that are in here tonight. And why were they saying it? I mean, somebody was doing an interview saying tickets are on, we give them tickets to StubHub. Well, one, we don't deal with StubHub. And if they're on StubHub, they go on StubHub for a premium. So why, if it's an event no one wants to go to, what's it doing on a premium event site? And as I'm quite sure Ticketmaster will confirm, that's the amount of tickets were sold. That is a fact. There's no giveaways or anything. That is what it was. I always felt it was going to sell because it's Tyson Fury. He sold, was it, in his last two fights, he's done 155,000 tickets.
Frank, should Don Charles and Derek's corner should have pulled him out earlier in that fight?
It could have been pulled out, and I'm sure he didn't want to be pulled out, but, Tyson, I think, Tyson, from his perspective, is good because he got some rounds under his belt, and I think he's needed some rounds to set himself up for what's going to happen next year. And there was, although he was still there and showing his fighting heart and his fighting spirit, and also throwing, he was throwing shots back. I don't think he was, and I'm not being disrespectful, he wasn't troubling Tyson.
No. So we saw Alexander Usyk get on the apron. We saw Joe Joyce, your man, get on the apron.
The fights are going to happen. I mean, there's going to be no dispute or problems making those fights. That's why they were there. We're well down the road with Usyk now, and we're also, the Joe Joyce fight is not a hard fight to make at all.
How close are we away from an announcement for the Usyk undisputed fight?
Well, if he's going to fight if it's going to happen late February, March, we're going to have to be announcing it this side of Christmas.
Middle East, Saudi Arabia, the most likely.
Look, this fight between these two guys for the four belts and for the undisputed, if you look at what's going on at the moment, the World Cup, you look at the Olympic Games, they go to the place that puts up the most money. That's where they go. And this is our World Cup finals. This is our our Olympic Games. So we will put this event on where it generates the most income, whether it be the UK, somewhere in the Middle East, America anyway. That is what's going to happen with this fight.
I spoke to your son George yesterday on camera, and he said the IBF situation won't be an issue. They will support this fight.
It can't be, because first of all, if you look at the rotation system, the next one up is the WBA anyway. And, you know, why would anybody want to stop that fight from happening? I mean, why? It's just moronic. And let's get this on. This has got a chance to do this, and we want to do it, and both parties want to do it. You know, Aegis and Alex, he's a manager and promoter. They want the fight, and more importantly, the fighters want the fight.
Does your man Tyson Fury knock out Alexander Usyk?
I think he stops him. I mean, it won't be easy, but I think he'll stop it, because I just think he's head and shoulders above all of them. You know, that's for me when people say, "Well, it's Derek Chisora." I don't think there's anybody at the moment who can beat him. I really do not think there's anybody there that can beat him. I can't see any chinks in his armour. Nothing tonight I see showed that there's, you know, that he was deteriorating. I think especially for fights like that, you know, even unification or a Joyce type of fight, where they're winning fighters and they're class fighters. And I'm not saying Derek isn't, but, you know, fighters who come in with those sort of records, they present a new challenge for him, and it's something he works hard, and I think he'll get up for.
Frank, just a couple of things I do want to talk to you about, because obviously it's been a while since I've had you on camera. You've not been great with your back, and I hope the recovery's going well. Zach Parker and John Ryder, unfortunate ending for your man Zach Parker. There was some images going around, I don't know if you're aware, where people were trying to say Zach's the scan that he put up wasn't his.
He's been in. I mean, I spoke to him today for obviously because we've been busy with the show, but he's been into hospital. He's been to see Mike Hayton up in Manchester, who's a surgeon, hand surgeon, and I'm quite sure he'll confirm that what was wrong. There was a problem. I mean, I watched it at home and I wonder what was going on. I couldn't make it out to start with. I thought he was in front in the fight. It was only 4 rounds. I thought he was a couple of rounds in front. But I thought, and then it was just like out of the blue. And for me, the end of the day, obviously, it's like all these things. We all jump to conclusions, and I've done that in the past. But he was genuinely banged his hand. And remember, he'd done a similar thing with his shoulder, and went on to fight 12 rounds. And he had a big problem that kept him out. And the doctor at the time told him he should never have done that. Look, he lives to fight another day. He's still young, and I think he can still, get back and do it. And I'm not taking anything away from John Ryder, because I think he deserves it, and God bless him. And I hope he gets the big fight and makes some money, and hopefully we can make a rematch.
Okay. Again, I spoke to your son George about this yesterday. Just want a comment from yourself about the Zolani Tete situation, please, Frank.
Well, I made a cop. I mean, I've seen some of this stuff about, I'm keeping quiet. Is it WBN or some...
World Boxing News.
Whoever he is, that idiot on there. And he keeps making stupid remarks like we weren't going to sell the tickets for this. I don't know what he's got hard on about us for. That we won't sell tickets, the place will be empty. Who's going to buy a ticket for it and this and that. Well, what do we do? Give away 59,700 tickets tonight? It's just moronic to say that. But I had made comments about it. If you look on Boxing Scene, I spoke to Rick Reno on there. He called me, and because I never knew it, because none of us were notified. We only heard about it through the media. The organisation who took it? Was it UCAD?
It's UCAD, yeah.
Never told us about it. The board, I spoke to Robert Smith, he was unaware of it, so they never even notified us. It came out of South Africa, and I made it very clear. If he's done something wrong, his B sample will be presented for a hearing, not holding it up, not a couple of other excuses. And if he's took something he shouldn't have taken, then he'll face the consequences. If he hasn't, then he'll carry on fighting. But to say I kept him out quiet, I spoke about it the following day. Go and check The website, Boxing Scene website, is on there with quotes from me.
Frank, Hamza Shiraz had an emphatic win over River Wilson Bent at the O2, incredible performance. Very strange afterwards. Amir Khan gave a series of interviews.
What is that all about? I don't know what he's about. I don't know if it's some thing going on. Look, Hamza Shiraz is one of the most politest, decent fighters that I've been involved with. And I've been involved with a lot of fighters. He's very respectful for people. He's respectful for opponents. I can't think of him, any sort of crap talk with anybody. I don't know why Amir's feeling why he's feeling, saying these things, but he's wrong. In my experiences of Hamza have been nothing but great. He's a nice kid, and I think he's a great advert for modern Britain, and I think he's a great advert for boxing. And he can fight, by the way.
He definitely can. Lastly, just to close off on a more positive note, again, haven't spoke to you since Beterbiev v Yard, Jan 28th, announced for Wembley Arena. What a start to 2023 for boxing.
Yeah, we've got some good shows lined up. We've got that on, and obviously you've seen there's two great shows which are going to happen next year with Tyson. So there's some great fights there to be made, and I'm looking forward to the likes of, talked about Hamza. I'm looking forward to coming through. I'm like Dennis McCann. I don't want to leave anybody out, but all these youngsters are coming. Sam Noakes, all of them have done really, really well, and I like Mr. Atumia done brilliantly tonight. I mean, he really boxed well tonight, and I thought young Royston done the trick. He's now. He was a boy when he turned pro. He's now becoming a man. You can see the strength he's got and the power he's got. He's starting to get power, and I was delighted with him.
Sorry, just something that's popped into my head. Last one. Your son George told me yesterday that MVP and Jake Paul have made an offer for the Tommy Fury fight. So do we see this in 2023?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny, I was talking to John and Tommy. It obviously weren't appropriate to speak about it tonight, but that's going to happen. That'll happen. There's no problem with that fight.
Frank, are you okay as well in terms of health-wise?
Yeah, I've just had this problem with me. I've had a problem for a couple of years with me back. I've had this replaced, and I've got to go and have a big op on Thursday, which hopefully will get it sorted out once and for all.
Frank Warren, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and hopefully we get this Fury-Usyk fight on in February or March.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you, Frank. Cheers. All good?
Midnight on Channel 5. Troy Williamson defends his British Super Welterweight Championship against the pretty boy Josh Kelly. Who wins? Find out Friday, December the 2nd, 9 p.m, live and free on Channel 5.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife for saying completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.